Good afternoon, Tampa Bay. Welcome to the World International Headquarters of the DuPont Registry Tampa Bay, everybody's favorite city magazine. In addition to our magazine, we do have DuPontRegistryTampaBay.com, where you can find the latest information on what's going on in Tampa, some interesting articles, and currently up on the website and being distributed as we speak, our current issue, the A to Z issue from this summer. A wonderful directory this year focused on interesting subject matter, which was what have some businesses and people done over the past few months to operate within the confines of a pandemic. And now, although we touched on it very lightly because of press dates and so forth, serious civil unrest in our country. We had some interesting responses. It makes good reading. And I can tell you one thing, Tampa is not the normal community. We are a community that is speaking to each other, reaching out to each other, caring for our healthcare heroes, trying to help out the nurses and doctors who've been in there fighting to keep people alive and to keep the rest of us healthy. It's quite a good story about this community, how we've come together and how our leadership is now facing some very serious issues and asking for our help. And we said, you don't have to ask, we volunteer. Mm-hmm. And we got a lot of good neighbors. Yeah. One of our good neighbors is the military. MacDill Air Force Base, absolutely a critical part of the community and brought so many wonderful leaders and followers, enlisted men as well as the hierarchy to our area. So today we have a special guest with us, Colonel Cary Harbaugh, and he's retired military.
That I am.
Although I think once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. Once you're military, you're always military.
I would like to think that way as well.
Great admiration for those of you who have made a career out of the military, no matter what your rank was on the way out at the last minute. It takes a great deal of devotion, sacrifice, and it's an honorable profession. So thank you for what you've done to protect all of us at home.
Thank you.
Currently, your responsibilities are Special Operation Warrior Golf Foundation. Boy, what a great idea to combine a great game of golf that is so much fun to do and it's outdoors and relaxing and builds friendship and also help those special operation warriors who need help.
Yeah.
So before you tell us a little bit about the foundation, tell us a little bit about Cary Harbaugh. Where'd you start out and how'd you get all the way into the military?
Well, Pittsburgh born in a family that had a long tradition of military service all the way back to the Revolutionary War. So it was something that was kind of in the blood, and I'd had uncles, and my father had kind of been in a slot where he was too young for World War II or Korea and too old for Vietnam, so he never did serve. But my uncles, his brothers, all did, and again the generations back through grandparents at the Battle of the Bulge, all the way, as I said, back to I have my great grandfather's battle map from the Civil War. He was a captain with Sherman's cavalry on the March to the Sea. I have that under glass in my house. So it was a long military tradition in our family. I served obviously a long time. My brother, I've got a son that's already got 13 years, and he's served in the Special Operations community as well. He's at Fort Bragg. I've got a daughter at the Citadel right now, getting her commission as a soldier. So it's just what we do in our family. And what I did was, went to graduate from high school here in Florida on the Space Coast, Rockledge High, 1976. Went off and went to college for a couple of years. Made a choice that I didn't necessarily want to do. I made the wrong college choice. I really want to go to West Point. But I had a scholarship offer from this school, so I went off. And then after 2 years, snuck out like a thief in the night and enlisted in the Army in 1978. And then served in special operations and airborne units for all of a 10-year enlisted career, and then made the transition to officer in 1988 and served in a variety of locations, almost all in the airborne and special operations community. A few, institutional, as we call it, assignments like, Pentagon-based type stuff. But other than that, I was in that community for all my operational assignments, and then did that for another 31 years, so for a 41-year career. Kind of capped it off with my final years. I was in the special operations community for almost all of the career of my officer time, And I was able to have the honor to serve as the director of the Warrior Care Program, the Wounded Warrior Program for Special Operations Command for my final 6 years. And that included being director of the Warrior Games that we brought here to the Tampa Bay area last year for 2019, which is a tremendous honor to serve in that capacity. The Warrior Care Program had assisted me when I got messed up, and so being able to give back and lead it, Admiral McCraven put me in the job back in 2013. And being able to carry that through not only Admiral McCraven, but General Votel, and then General Thomas, and then into General Clark was a tremendous honor for me.
Admiral McCraven, he's the one that gave the speech about make your bed, right?
He is, and
we'll
I've been
not
making
forget
my
that.
bed forever. So hearing that made me smile, and everybody that knows me and knows me well knows that I still do that. It's sort of a tradition, and it's neat. He was a great officer to serve under. I did it for a couple of different types of jobs and at different times in my career, and he knew my story very well. So when the opportunity arose for there to be a new director appointed to what's called the Care Coalition, this Warrior Care Program Special Operations Command, and he put me in the seat, I was honored to do so. But he knew why.
He picked the right guy. He makes his bed and gets programs running.
I try to.
And is the overseer of the Warrior Games. What a fabulous event! Did it go as well as you expected? I mean, you brought a lot of people into this town.
It went beyond what we expected.
Great.
And now we knew what we were getting. General Thomas and I were sitting courtside. He was the 4-star commander of USOCOM all the way up to the Warrior Games. He changed command in March, and we kicked off the games in the June-July timeframe. But in 2017, a couple years prior to that, we were sitting courtside at the Chicago Warrior Games that were hosted by the Navy. And he said, "Cary, what keeps us from holding a Warrior Games?" And I looked at him and said, "You." And he goes, "What do you mean me?" And I said, "You got to say yes." Because we knew it was a big undertaking, and Special Operations Command is not as big as a service, even though it has service-like responsibilities. It didn't have the staff for that. But we knew we could do it. And he said, "Well, what do you think?" And I said, "Well, sir, Tampa Bay. I mean, just look at what we get from the support of the community. I think if we do this right, we can do it smartly and we can do it affordably," which was one of the things that we wanted to really was a focus of our game. The fact is that the game had been growing in cost as it moved location to location, and as it became more robust in its activities that were involved in it. And we needed, the DoD was very concerned about the rising cost of the games. So we needed to show a model that could be sustainable for the Warrior Games. We knew that if we could get community support to do this wholesale, so to speak, that we could get that, and that Tampa Bay was the right area for that. And that's exactly what we got. Support out of the city of Tampa, obviously, with a lot of different venues and resources. I mean, they gave us they didn't give us, we paid for it, but we paid modest costs. We paid operating costs. So allowing us to utilize the Tampa Convention Center for a week worth of sport, for basically the paying for the air conditioning, the electricity, and the security, rather than have to rent it out like like the services had to do when we took it to Chicago and pay millions of dollars for a convention center. That kind of thing is how Tampa gave back. USF allowed us for the track and field and tennis events. We had the city of Clearwater that gave us their pool facility for our indoor swimming event. I mean, all of these things were basically gifted to us. It allowed us to run our game for 1/7 the cost of the game that preceded it, and that set the standard and allowed DoD to take note and say, okay, we can do this right. Yeah. So Tampa Bay and all the communities in Tampa Bay that supported us are responsible for that success.
Good. Well, I know Tampa Bay was extremely proud to be selected, and I know the entire Tampa Bay community, from the Vinicks to the fellows at the Sankey Sheraton, who hosted some older veterans, I can't remember the group specifically, but brought them there, I think, right after the Warrior Games and said, "You can have the beach, have a good time.
Right.
Nobody's going to bother you. You want to talk to somebody, you can, but go chill."
That's right. That's right.
So, and I know everybody that I know that was involved was proud to be involved. Whether they gave $5 or $500,000, that wasn't the problem. The problem was they wanted to do something. So it was a great moment for our community. Thank you for doing that. So the problem with wounded warriors and retired military didn't go away at the end of the games.
No.
There's something going on, and there are many, many, many ways to help our men and women who've come out of the military service and have problems, whether they're psychological or physical, doesn't make any difference. And people have developed a lot of different programs to deal specifically with different parts. The Golf Foundation. And this guy, Mike Morales.
Yeah.
He's a hero.
He is he is an incredible young man. No doubt about it.
I saw the video, and I encourage everybody to go bring that video up. It's so impressive. It's so impressive. And it's so impressive what the game of golf does with these folks. So give us a little description of the foundation and how it operates.
We started the foundation actually as a sort of a evolution from a great effort that was going on every year called the Special Operations Forces Ireland Golf Retreat. And it was run by a great benefactor here. He's a Copperhead. He's also my vice chairman on the board, Tom Gates. And he would stand this thing up every year, and I participated a couple of years with it. One of those is one we filmed with Mike, if you see that video, where we would go to Waterville, Ireland, and we would take a set of wounded warriors, and we'd expose them to the game of golf, and you show the healing impact of golf that has. It hits you on various different levels. I mean, it's not just the sport itself. It's being out in nature. It's being amongst your colleagues and buddies that have shared experiences. It's a spiritual game. It's a game you can play your whole life. It's a game you can play regardless of your disabilities and regardless of your abilities. You can be, as we were talking before going live, you know that you can be fully ambulatory, fully functioning, and still be frustrated by the game of golf. And you can also be a double amputee and play the game amazingly well, or a triple amputee like Mike Nicholson, Staff Sergeant Marine that lives in this area, wounded warrior. Triple amputee plays with one arm, and he plays amazing game of golf. I've played with Mike. He's a good friend, and he's on our board of advisors for the Warrior Foundation. So the whole idea is that we would use this sport as a venue to not only connect the guys to the sport and get them using it for all of its impacts and the power of concentration that's required in the game, focus that you need, all helps with your brain in its recovery, especially from a traumatic brain injury, our most pervasive injury, along with emotional impacts. But also the social nature of the game, as I mentioned. And then on top of that, so many business leaders that in the communities of the world, but in the communities of the United States in particular, play the game of golf and use it as a way to interact and use it to conduct business. And it was we thought a great venue to be able to get our wounded warriors as they transition in potentially other careers, to be able to connect to those business leaders. So that's sort of the basis of the foundation, is that we have a venue where we can assist with their career transition, along with expose them to therapies, get them connected to other resources. So our design is a constellation of care inside our foundation. We've got on our board of directors the leaders of other benevolent organizations that conduct things like therapeutic retreats for post-traumatic stress disorder, like the Brian Bill Foundation, led by Scott Bill on our board. I'm also on his board. They do PTSD retreats. We had Operation Healing Forces, led by Gary Markell. They provide marital retreats for special operations couples that are suffering. He's on our board, so we have that connection. So if we identify, and there's others. Crossroads Foundation with Jan Stevenson, very dear friend, World Golf Hall of Famer. She provides adaptive golf instruction, and again, to extend that therapy of using the game of golf. We've got a connection to the VA. Our senior medical advisor is Dr. Colleen Jakey. She's the chief of staff of the Haley VA. Haley VA is very special to us in the special operations community because it has a program called PREP, the Post-Deployment Rehabilitation and Evaluation Program, that now is being spread more deeply across the VA and proliferated, much needed. But that program has been a flagship for the care of our special operations wounded warriors. I'm, in fact, a patient of that program and was greatly benefited from it, as so many of my warriors have. She's on our board, so that gives us connection into the VA and into that apparatus. So, and other members of our board, Homes Fit for Heroes with Larry and Sam Ray. I can go on and on with a board membership that we have that plays a role with other benevolent organizations to provide the resources. So what we want to be is a connecting foundation, and that's what it is, using the game of golf to connect them to resources, connect them to therapies, and also get them out playing a great sport.
Well, you exposed a side of golf that not everybody sees very easily, and we all see TV and we see the great stars out there playing, and we just don't know how they do it. It's a beautiful sport. These guys and the professional women, all dressed in the latest outfit you can imagine, all with the latest technology in their clubs and everything else like that. But the mental part of this game, that those athletes can focus and are very successful, drifts right down to the backwoods golfer like me with a high handicap, and also I can see how it easily evolves into a package that is meaningful for somebody who's suffering PTSD or another traumatic injury from defending our country. I have to tell you that when COVID started and we first got our isolation orders and said you don't go anywhere, I don't play a lot of golf, but I played a lot of golf. Because I walked out there, the cell phone was gone, the noise went away, it was me and that darn little ball. And I did have somebody with me I could talk to if I wanted to, but I was mostly left the real world behind and went into a focus. And the training helping me deal with the onslaught of these decisions we had to make as businessmen, facing a shutdown pandemic that was going to be very dangerous and a lot it was clearly an advantage I had because I went out and played golf.
Sure.
And it could be something else, but it was golf, which is what you've taken this sport and turning it into something very meaningful for these young men and women that need the therapy and are happy to take it. So you got a tournament coming up.
We do have a tournament coming up. But before I get to that, you opened up something here, and one of the things that we have to fight with wounded warriors in particular is a sense of isolation. And you just raised that because I felt that same way, and golf was a tremendous assistance for that. And so, how you're able when you're out on the golf course, it's a spiritual activity. It almost feels like you're in a cathedral when you're on a beautiful golf hole. When you're out there, and it's in the quiet. Even when you're with your friends and they may be having, poking fun at you for bad shots or what have you, there's still that sense of being someplace special. And I've also always felt that nothing will remind you that there is a higher being, that there is a God, however you worship them, than a well-struck golf shot. I mean, when you hit that ball and you hit it pure, no matter how good or bad you are at the game, when you hit that one good shot, it feels good deep in your soul. And that's something that we saw restorative with wounded warriors. If you watch a video of Mike Morales, you get a little sense of that. But when you hit that one shot, and it can be only one shot that whole day, but you hit that one shot and you hit it pure, and it's in the air, and you almost hear angels sing. It's that feeling, that sense, and it's really, really fulfilling and life-sustaining. So you wanting to capture that as a lifelong golfer, I've been playing golf. I'm 61 years old. I've been playing golf since I was about 5. And at various levels, sometimes I got to scratch golf in my 30s and early 40s. I'm about a 2 and a 3 right now. That depends on the golf course, obviously, and the day and how much I'm willing to fudge on my card. But the fact is that I love the game because no matter how I've evolved, my game has changed, but it's stayed with me. But every time I hit that good shot, I still feel the same that I did when I was a young boy hitting those good golf shots and feeling great about it. And passing that on, that's the therapy that happens in the game of golf itself, along with then the camaraderie, the sense of, you make a friend for life when you play around a golf with them. And that's where you're fighting the isolation that you were speaking to, of where COVID kind of shut us in. We had one game, there was other activities, I know you get out and cycle and do other things, but we had one game in particular that was social, where you could be with each other, because golf naturally has social distance.
Absolutely.
You don't have to stand next to everybody. Well, you got to stand out of the way of their club, or you're going to get hit, right? So you're able to interact with each other and in an engaged way, and you're able to share what's going on in your life. You're able to talk about the trials and tribulations that you may be dealing with, but you're able to release it. And then when you hit those golf shots, you feel it even better. So it is an important aspect. Now, you were taking me into the golf tournament.
Yes. So tell us a little about when the tournament is.
August 29th at TPC at Tampa Bay. We still have plenty of open slots. It is to raise funds for this foundation in particular. It's to get us off the ground. Mike Morales is the only paid employee of the Special Ops Warrior Golf Foundation. He is our executive director. So one of the things we wanted to secure as we stood up this golf foundation, and we had to delay a lot of our fundraising activities due to COVID, was that we would secure his salary for as much period of time as we could. So we made sure we locked Mike in, and we want he's a great guy, and he's the right young man to run all of our executive and administrative functions. Great Green Beret. So we're raising those funds. We're also raising it to get our retreats moving. We have our first retreat was scheduled for October, but unfortunately the ban by the EU is going to prevent us from getting back to Ireland. So we're going to do that in April. That will be our first retreat out of the area. Although we are looking at some potential retreat options into not only the Tampa Bay area, Pinehurst, which is close to Fort Bragg. Whistling Straits has offered us a potential venue there. French Lick is another potential venue not too far from our Fort Campbell footprint. So we're looking at some other venues where we might stand up week-long retreats to get these guys out and have gather the mentor benefactors, which are those business leaders, to come out, host and sponsor a couple of Special Ops Wounded Warriors and get them out on the golf course, get to know them and assist them with their transitions, along with us getting them connected to resources. So we're looking for as many people as want to come out and participate. Go to our website, sowgf.org, and you can get the information about the tournament. That's sowgf.org, Special Ops Warrior Golf Foundation. We are not to be confused. We have a foundation that is very near and dear to us that helps our Gold Star kids, the Special Ops Warrior Foundation. We are not an affiliated of the Special Ops Warrior Foundation. We love them dearly. I think they love us too. It's just a matter of, I just like to make that distinction. So if you go looking off for the webpage, make sure you got golf in the name, because that's what we are. We're a golf foundation.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be a great event. Now, it's just a game of golf one day, dinner.
That's it. Dinners are hard under COVID. So actually, if you come out to this, you're going to get not only a lot of really cool Special Ops Warrior Golf Foundation bling with it for your participation, along with feeling really good about being what you're doing for our Warriors. You're going to get to see a bunch of our Wounded Warriors. They'll be out there playing golf with us. So a lot of them have been hosted by great benefactors that have sponsored teams of Wounded Warriors to be out there playing. So you'll see a lot of special operators, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Rangers, combat controllers from the Air Force and what have you, special tactics guys. We got Marine special operators, all sorts and ilks of our special operations forces. General Tony Thomas, who's also on our board, is a dear friend of mine. He was my commander, as I mentioned to him about Warrior Games. He is on our board of directors. He will be out there with us, as well as Jan Stevenson, our World Golf Hall of Famer, on our board. Dr. Jakey Colleen will be out there with us, and other members of our board of directors. So you get to meet all of the leadership of the Warrior Golf Foundation, along with all the people that many of the people that we try to take care of. And what you get will be at the end. We're doing this creatively with COVID, so it'll be a golf cart kind of lunch and closing awards ceremony to give out the prizes and other things. And it'll be like, with some kind of really cool box lunch. I think we've got PDQ that's providing that for us.
That'd be all right.
We've got some Mission Barbecue out there. We got a lot of different stuffs going on. But we'll be kind of mustering our carts in a formation, so to speak. That'll be our dinner piece, because again, trying to keep everybody safe from this nasty disease.
It's gotten difficult these days to be able to stay safe, stay apart, but be together and make that connection. So you're out on the golf course, you're going to be able to connect there, and you come back, and I'm sure that it's going to be an exciting day and lots of bling. Do you get a coin?
Yeah, well, we don't have a coin as yet, but we do have some other things like ball markers. We got these really cool belts that Next Belts produce. Put our ball marker inside them. So we got some other great things out there. But you'll see, there's all kinds of stuff that have been either provided to us, donated to us, or passed to us in order for us to assist us with our fundraising to get this thing going. And a lot of nice stuff for the folks.
I have a close friend, Arnold Fisher, and Arnold Fisher, his family is the ones that are responsible for Fisher houses at the VAs.
I know his son well.
Do you? Yeah.
Yes.
Arnold is in his 80s. He has a house next door to me up in Long Island Sound. Arnold is one of those gentlemen that he said he needed to live at least 15 more years. He's elderly. He said, I need 15 more years. I got a lot of work to do for our men and women in uniform. I hope he survives, because he's doing a fabulous job between the Intrepid Foundation and the Fisher houses. Arnold has the most incredible collection of coins. Oh my gosh, from the military. I mean, and he can tell you a story with each coin, how he got it, and he must have 60 or 70 of them.
Wow.
And what they mean to him and where it came from. Arnold had a plenty of connections in Washington with the top brass, and was adamant about working on the Intrepid Foundation, and they were giving him a little bit of a hard time. And apparently Arnold went down and left a mark in the desk of the commanding officer's desk because he slapped his fist down and said, "I don't care, I'm going to do it anyway." And he had a Super Bowl ring on, or a World Series ring from the Yankees, and it left a mark. And Arnold has also left his mark on the military.
Oh, he has, certainly. The Fisher Foundation and all that they've done with the Fisher houses, the Intrepid Center, the Center for the Intrepid at San Antonio has cared for so many of our special operations wounded warriors. I've visited many times.
Did you know he got a field promotion?
I didn't know he got a field promotion, but
now I'm going to get in trouble for this story, but this is how the military works at its best, sort of below the radar. He wanted to go see what the impact was on these men and women in action. He said, "So I got to go to, I don't know, Afghanistan." So they flew to Afghanistan. He got there. They took him out in the field. When they realized that they were taking him out there, they realized he mustered out of the Army as a corporal or something like that. He said, "We can't do this for some buck private. No, not going to happen." So the two guys with him gave him a commission, mustered him out as a sergeant major.
Oh, how about that? Well, that's quite a promotion. That's a lot of steps.
And so Arnold came back with credentials and everything else, and he was so proud of it. He's built big buildings and foundations and done lots of things like that. He's singularly proud of the fact that he had a rank when he left the military.
Well, Fisher was responsible for not only, of course, all of these great centers for the care of our wounded, and primarily with the Fisher houses, care of the families as they go through these tough times. With their warriors laid up, sometimes for many months and sometimes for years. So what Fisher has done is had an amazing impact on so many of our families. But they're also responsible for the Warrior Games, for helping us get Warrior Games going, and a lot of support to Warrior Games. All the family programs for the Warrior Games, including the one we held here in Tampa Bay, were funded by Fisher. So and along with that, the Invictus Games, which was a international spin on our Warrior Games, because when Prince Harry came and visited our Warrior Games in 2013, he decided to kick off the Invictus Games, and our first one was held in London, and then of course we had one here in the Florida area in Orlando in 2016. So Fisher has done tremendous things. It continues to do that, and it's one of the most giving partners out there for the Department.
For those of you who are not familiar with the Fisher House, it's the same as a Ronald McDonald House at a normal hospital. It's just for the military. And I can't remember how many there are around the country, but a number of them. And hats off to the family for taking the lead and making sure those care facilities were available.
Yeah, they're not just in the country. They've got them over in Germany, around our hospitals there. They opened a second house here at Haley last year or the year before. Just what they do is again has this amazing impact on the families, and really is providing tremendous care.
So we could talk stories about the military and about the special operation warrior groups that take care of our wounded, and actually reach an arm out to those who are healthy when they come back, and give people that sense of community, and give those of us who are sitting at home in our comfortable environment in the United States a great deal of comfort that we know that we're safe and sound. So thanks to you and the members of the foundation for getting this done. So we want to repeat this, make sure everybody's got it on their calendar. It's August 29th. It's going to be good and hot out there, so you're going to be ready to take lots of water with you.
We're starting early. It won't be too bad.
And hopefully the Hurricanes will stay away that weekend.
We hope so.
August 29th this year at the Tournament Players Club in Tampa Bay in Lutz. Plenty of opportunities to sign up still. SOWGF.org, Special Operations Warrior Golf Foundation. A great day to go out and have a lot of fun while doing good. I think it's not good English, but have fun while doing good. It makes sense to me. We try to do that with our magazine, with the DuPont Registry. We try to focus on a lot of things that are going on in the community, a lot of things that are very high-end and very luxurious, but we also want to point out in the world of philanthropy, Tampa is really number one, and that people like to give back, pay ahead, participate. They like to have fun, and it's a great place to go out and do that, and it's a great place to live. So thank you, Colonel Harbaugh, for coming today and being with us on this program. We appreciate you taking your time out. We kept you off the golf course long enough.
Oh, not too bad. We'll get spun up there and get out there sometime.
Absolutely. Today. So we look forward to seeing you out there, and good luck with raising all the money and we'll be around to help you and publicize this. We'll get this out on our networks and make sure that everybody gets a chance to see and meet you and learn a little bit about what you're doing.
Thanks.
Thanks
so
so
much. Honored
much.
to be with you. There we go.
There
The
we go.
COVID shake.
All right, Tampa Bay, thanks for listening in with us today. Another great Tuesday in Tampa Bay. We're just pleased to be able and honored to have an important member of the military with us today. We thank all those men and women in uniform for keeping us safe. We hope that each and every one of them who is overseas or stationed someplace away from home comes home safe to be with their families. Thanks. Go out and make it a great day, Tampa Bay.